Coming up on Inside the WCHA, we'll take a look at the highlights from the last weekend of the regular season. Plus, each head coach gives us a preview of their team's matchup heading into the first round of the playoffs. To get things going, here's a look at the matchups going into the quarterfinal round of the playoffs. Since Bemidji State won the regular season title, they have the #1 seed and take on the Northern Michigan Wildcats. Michigan Tech held on to second place and will battle it out with Lake Superior State. Minnesota State took the 3 seed and will play Alaska, and Bowling Green clinched the last home ice spot and get ready to face the Ferris State Bulldogs. Hello everybody and welcome to this edition of Inside the WCHA. I'm your host, Ryan Kansenschmidt, joined by Andrew Jelkin as always. Andrew, we just took a look at some of the quarterfinal matchups. Let's take a look at last weekend's games to see how the regular season finished out. In our first big rivalry matchup of the weekend, Northern Michigan welcomed Michigan Tech to the Berry Event Center. Robbie Payne got things going for the Wildcats just 3 minutes into the game. Michigan Tech evened the score at the 11:54 mark after this crazy scramble in front of Ate Tolvanen. The puck finally squirts out to Cliff Watson as he buries it. The 1-1 tie lasted till halfway through the second when an odd man rush turned into a Husky lead. Tech extended their lead to 3-1 5 minutes later off the stick of senior defenseman Shane Hanna. The Wildcats would get one back late, but the Huskies would hang on for the 3-2 win and lock down second place in the standings. The Huskies got things going quickly in Game 2 of the home-and-home series. Joel Lesperance knocked in a rebound just 65 seconds after puck drop. NMU's Troy Loggins tied it up with 50 seconds to go in the frame on the power play, and then Darian Craighead put the Wildcats ahead early on in the second. Jake Jackson brought Michigan Tech back even halfway through the frame on this short side backhand attempt. Both teams traded goals at the end of the second to make it 3-3, headed into the third. Northern Michigan would provide 2 goals in the third period and come away with a 5-3 victory.
Ferris State was fighting for their chance at home ice Friday night against Lake Superior State. The third period alone featured 6 goals between these two teams, starting with Chad McDonald's second goal of the game 1 minute in. With 12:30 remaining in regulation, Craig Peffley pushed the Bulldogs' lead to 4-2 on the power play. But the Lakers refused to go away, getting one back on a power play goal of their own, courtesy of Diego Cuglietta. Sophomore forward Gage Torrell brought Lake Superior State even with his second goal of the game late in the third. But Ferris State managed to put the Lakers away with 2 more late goals and the 6-4 win. Saturday night was a completely different story, taking overtime to decide the winner. Mitch Holt struck first late in the first period, right off a faceoff in the Bulldog zone. The Dogs evened things up 2 minutes into the second period with this goal by Mitch Maloney. The goaltenders provided the rest of the story, stopping all the other shots and officially ending things in a 1-1 tie. Lake State picked up the extra point in a 1-round shootout.
Goaltending was a story in Bemidji as well as the Beavers hosted Minnesota State. BSU took an early 1-0 lead on Jordan Heller's first goal of the season 8 minutes in. Minnesota State used a little second period momentum and their first power play to even things up. The 1-1 deadlock lasted until midway through the third when the Beavers tallied a power play goal of their own thanks to junior forward Jerry Fitzgerald. Michael Bitzer finished the night with 26 saves and his 20th win of the season. Jerry Fitzgerald put the Beavers ahead first again on Saturday night, also again on the power play. That 1-0 lead would stretch into the second when MSU also took advantage of yet another power play. Junior Zeb Knutson provided that equalizer. Zach Stepan then gave MSU the lead at the 16:37 mark with help from Brad McClure and Michael Huntebrinker. Maverick goaltender Jason Polowski stood tall in net, turning aside 27 Beavers shots and picking up the 2-1 win.
Bowling Green was fighting for the last home ice spot as well this past weekend as they took on Alabama Huntsville. Senior forward Kevin Dufour provided all the early offense the Falcons needed, scoring 2 first-period goals. After Mitch McLean and Adam Smith added to the BGSU lead, Dufour managed to complete the hat trick 7 minutes into the 3rd period. The hat trick was the first in Dufour's career, a fantastic way to wrap up your senior season. The Falcons would hold on for the convincing 7-0 win over the Chargers, with junior goaltender Chris Nell picking up the shutout. Bowling Green got all the offense they needed in the 1st period again on Saturday night. Tyler Spezia scooped up a rebound and wrapped it around the Charger net for the 1-0 lead. Later in the period, the Falcons were wrapping up a penalty kill in their defensive zone when Sean Walker took the puck and went coast to coast for his 9th goal of the year. All goaltenders for the rest of the game after that, as Chris Nell stopped all 38 Huntsville shots for his 3rd shutout in a row.
Last but certainly not least, the two Alaska schools met in Game 3 of the Alaska Airlines Governor's Cup. After UAF's Tyler Klein made it a 1-0 game at 8:23 of the 1st with the only power play strike, the Alaska schools fired off a combined 4 goals in 1 minute and 42 seconds of play. The Nanooks' Ross Height made it a 2-goal game. UAA's leading defenseman Jarrett Brown cut the lead in half. Sophomore Mason Mitchell tied things up, and Austin Veith tied the crazy span off by putting the Nanooks back in front to end the period. But after that, Mason Mitchell tallied his 2nd goal of the game for the Seawolves just 23 seconds into the 2nd period. Things finally slowed down after that. Troy Van Teetering scored the only goal for either team in the 3rd and gave Alaska the crazy 4-3 win. Alaska Anchorage got off to a great start Saturday night when Nicholas Erb-Ekholm put the Seawolves ahead in the 2nd period. That Seawolf lead only lasted for 96 seconds before UAEF's Zach Fry knotted the game with a power play goal. The 1-1 tie would last all the way into overtime. Head coach Matt Thomas elected to pull goaltender Rasmus Raiola in the final minutes, but couldn't capitalize. Taylor Munson provided the game winner for Alaska, giving the Nanooks their 8th straight Governor's Cup title.
So here's how the conference standings finished up after last weekend's games. Alaska Anchorage and Alabama Huntsville fell just short of the number 8 spot and will miss the playoffs this year. Bowling Green broke the tie between themselves and Ferris State and will have home ice for at least the quarterfinal round. None of the other teams changed their positioning in the standings, so things are all set headed into the 1st round of playoffs this weekend.
That's right, Andrew. The playoffs are set. We're ready to kick off the new WCHA format with the on-campus playoff games. So let's take a look at what the coaches had to say about this new format and the upcoming matchups.
They're a totally different team. They're confident. They've won a lot of games. They've scored 5 power play goals over the last 4 games, and that's against Mankato and Michigan Tech. So it's going to be a great series. We have our hands full. We know that. And again, they just got an abundance of talent over there. You take a look at, again, Dominic Shine, how he's producing. Brock Maschmeyer, he has so much experience. Darian Craighead, he's a freshman who's really emerged. And of course, Tolvanen, he's been so hot the second half. So, they have a lot of attributes. They've got a good hockey team. They're good defensively. They can score goals, and they got good goaltending. And their special teams is playing well right now. So, that's Northern Michigan right now.
Yeah, we haven't seen Lake State for a while. It's one of those teams we only played twice this year within our league. So, but I've followed them obviously because Coach Witten, was here for the few years and just to see the growth of their program. But they've got a good young team. The core of their team is really sophomores, and they've got some real good players. They have more players up in the scoring than we do. So. We're going to have to make sure we're on our game, that we play well defensively, that we don't give them much, and then we're going to have to score on their goaltender. They've got a goalie who's in his last year of eligibility has played extremely well. So, but they've grown as a team, and maybe the wins and losses aren't quite where they want it to, but it's a new season. Every time you start the playoffs, it's a new year, and they'll be excited. They'll be anxious to get in here, and we've got to make sure we bring our A game to have success against them.
What you saw with the 4-game series that we had with Fairbanks is they're going to come in. They're going to be. I think Dallas Ferguson does a great job at preparing his team. They play an honest game. They're hard. They'll get to your net. They'll defend their net. I think there aren't many teams in the WCHA that have the offensive output that they have from their blue line. Fry and Woods are two guys that come to mind. They're in the middle of everything, offensively, defensively. They're hard, and they've got a veteran goaltender. So you combine all those things, and it's a hard matchup. But I don't think it's going to be an easy matchup for anybody in the league on who they're playing this weekend.
These are two programs that know each other quite well, and we've played 4 times this year. And, they're a group that we think is led by seniors and really good seniors. They're a group that won the playoffs last year, so you know you're capable at this time. They're very capable at this time of year. It's going to be a difficult series. It's going to be every inch on the ice going to be fought for. We're hoping the home ice gives us a little bit of advantage to be in our friendly confines here, but we also know that this Ferris State group has won on the road in the playoffs in this league. So it is going to be a tough fought 2 or 3 game series that we know these teams match up pretty evenly, and it's going to come down to the individuals and who executes at a higher level, and we're excited and looking forward to it.
This is going to be a tough series for both programs and both teams. Bowling Green's a very good hockey team, very good, and they have been for a number of years. We're a very good hockey team, and we have been for a number of years, and neither team is stranger to playoff hockey. I'd expect this to go to the wire, maybe some OT, and just given the games we've seen between the two teams this year, the fact that we are 2-2 against each other, we split at Bowling Green, we split here with Bowling Green. It's going to be close. And if you look at the numbers, scoring offense, scoring defense, power play, penalty kill, they're all very similar. So this will be a tight series. May come down to a bounce of a puck.
Well, obviously Mankato, I think they've got a great team. They've got some really skilled players that can make some plays up front, and they've got some defensemen that can really get involved. And their speed and transition game is something that we're going to have to be ready for. We talked a lot about being responsible without the puck and managing the puck, and those are the things that we're going to have to make sure we're focused in on, as well as being really disciplined. Their power play is one of the best that I've seen in our league, and we got to have discipline and emotion in our game, and I think we'll be okay.
Well, we've been in a tight playoff race for a while. Going into Friday night, the final weekend, we had anywhere to grab home ice still to missing the playoffs. So we've really been in the playoff mindset for the last few weeks. Anytime you go on the road, it makes it difficult. They've won a lot the last few years, and here they are, a second-place team. So it is a difficult matchup. We're going to have to play our best game to have a chance to be successful. I think we've beaten nearly everybody on our schedule this year, so we do feel like we can go in and have a lot of success. Tough place to play, very good hockey team, so we're going to have to be playing our best hockey.
I think we're playing well. We had a real strong second half, and we were able to find our way into the playoffs. I think we had a real tough series in Mankato against a very good team, and I think we had a little bit of a bounce back against Michigan Tech, and we started to come back and play the way that we need to play. We're playing a very good team in Bemidji, very well coached. We played them twice in the first half. They beat us all 4 games. Again, they're well coached. They have great goaltending. They're a very committed defensive team. I think they have a real good group of forwards, as well as defensemen. I think they're deep right through their lineup. They didn't get where they are in our league by accident. They're very good, and we'll have a tough time, and we'll have to bring our A game every night if we're going to get through this.
So Andrew, the higher seeds have the home ice this weekend for the first round of the WCHA playoffs. What kind of advantage is that going to be for the teams this weekend?
Ryan, as we've heard from a lot of the coaches so far this year, home ice for the playoffs is huge. Fans are going to be in the buildings. It's going to be loud at home ice. And definitely the players are going to be wanting to win, especially for the seniors, for that last time in their home building. But there's definitely a lot of chance for upset this week, as there's so much parity throughout the league this year. So I think it's going to make for a really exciting first round of playoffs this weekend.
Yeah, 4 series this weekend, best of 3 series, lots of excitement to watch on WCHA.tv this weekend. We hope you keep up with all of the games this weekend. We'll be back next weekend to bring you the quarterfinal results as well as a preview of the semifinal matchups. For Ryan Kansenschmidt, Andrew Jelkin, thank you very much for joining us on this edition of Inside the WCHA. We'll see you next time.